Oh god, I forgot. Players, I just spoiled a bit of the movie magic for you. And yes, I've reversed my setup from last time. So, Wormet Lords and Ladies, Jacob Butter speaking. Sorry it took so long to download this video, but I'm here now, and this is Minecraft review with Jacob Butter. There you go. Just made that right now. It's like, hey, I wanted to do some Minecraft text generator. That would make way more sense. So that's exactly what happened. I guess no one's in the chat yet because I can't see. Even the messages don't come up. That might be an issue. Well, we shall see. Maybe it will open up when the first person messages. I forget how that works exactly because normally by the time I set up the stream, someone's already been in there, been like, hey, or something like that. Actually, this might be an issue. I don't know. My phone's at 3%, so once I eventually get onto having enough charge, I will check the chat. But for right now, I will give the overview of what is happening here. So, as it says in the description of this video, I've apparently already seen this video. This came out in August 24th of 2017. I don't have any memories of how this goes down, but when I saw the first few minutes, I was like, yes, I have seen this, and it was already I clicked like on it, so I guess. But yeah, you feel like this would have stuck out more to me because of the fact it's the first Minecraft musical. You would have thought that if I'd end up seeing this through to the end, I would have actually been all over this show. I don't know what happened. So yeah, not really much to say about that because I honestly have no clue. The description does say it just says, you know, the classic hope you enjoy this first Minecraft musical role play, you know, share with your friends, family, and pets and all that stuff. There's no actual summary. There's a bunch of credits and stuff in here, obviously, but that's really it. So yeah, I don't know. All right, well, nothing else to say here, so I guess we'll just play the video. I've been trying to push back. Well, I didn't try and push back. This one did get pushed back. I wanted to do this one last week, but then a bunch of other things came out, and I turned down a Minecraft Legends stream with Aiden for this. Aiden's supposed to be here at some point, so he'll join in later. So I guess let's get a head start to make that worth his while. So without further ado, on with the review. Some more establishing shots. Classic moving to the house.
You will both be having your own rooms in our new house.
I did remember the character's name was something like Baby. For some reason, I was autofilling Babe, but that's because of Game Shakers. So, yeah, that's a whole different situation.
Really, Mom? That's awesome! Even though I didn't mind sharing with Angel. Yay! Now I don't have to go listen to Baby bursting out in song all the time.
Unlike what you just did there by going, yay! Like, what is that if not bursting into song? Hypocrite.
I don't do it all the time! I bet you couldn't go one day without breaking into song.
That is a very difficult challenge, I will admit.
We used to stop fighting. Angel, you know Baby has a passion for singing.
Yeah, used to. Used to better stops fighting, strike snoused.
That's why we moved to this town, so she'd go to the art academy, which has the best classes for theatre.
And that's not how you do natural exposition. Like, what the heck? I mean, come on.
Your father would have been proud of you, Baby. Now, go pick your bedrooms.
Okay, that edit was funny. Not off to a good start on the storytelling, though. As you know, I conducted a raid on the Great Library, as most of them didn't even exist. Oh, okay, right, so I can. So my phone is charged now. I can actually see the chat. So nothing's appearing in here, but I will read out the comments on here. So this is such a good title card. Also, it's called "Let Me In." So BB is playing the role of Ghosty today, I suppose. So that's fine. And yes, this is indeed a musical. And that's from KW. Okay, well, I guess I'm letting BB into here. So I forgot she's been really into musicals ever since Epic, as of recently. So yeah, that's been sent, and we'll find out soon enough.
Yes, this is perfect! No fair! You have a balcony! Yes, the room may be a bit smaller than the others, but I love the balcony. It makes me feel like singing!
And there it is. So at last we see that one, the passion that we were promised from the right person rather than the other one.
We can't last one day without...
Yeah, you were first. Don't forget that. Okay. Hello, BB.
Hello.
Oh, and also KW's voice is apparently better. Able to talk, but I won't talk a whole lot, so I don't strain my voice again. No break into song for you, I suppose, KW.
Yeah, no, I was off working on the Omniverse timeline.
Of course you are.
Fine.
The timeline
I
is
won't
like
sing
New York. It never sleeps.
Mm-hmm.
yet.
Okay, are they? Is everyone like permanently on like with like has enhanced speed in this? Because I feel like someone's messed around with that to make the scuttling funnier. Because it's
Well,
all
I
the
feel
time.
so. I will say this: I feel like a lot of musicals feel like people speak quicker than they normally do.
No,
Like,
well, I mean, they might speak quicker, but they don't necessarily walk faster.
oh, I mean, yeah, fair. But like, I feel like whenever like you're watching any musical, if you really sit down to listen to what they're saying, it feels like they're speaking faster than a normal person usually would. My assumption is either I'm insane or it's being done because they want to keep this kind of the train going, so that way
The one
you're
that gets the
always
next song, yeah.
kind of in that like high speed, like, okay, let's keep the energy up kind of mood, whether you know you are in that or not.
Potentially. That's a double-edged sword when it comes to the songs that actually are slower. They want you to and try to evoke different emotions, like the sad ballads you get every now and then.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think it depends also on the direction, because I feel like having things fast and then going to the sad stuff could also technically work.
I think Team
Because
Star Kid balances it out very well, actually. I'll say that much.
but no, I think it could work because you also have the aspect of, because a lot of people, depending on the scene, if it's a more sorrowful moment, having it just crash down on you randomly could also work, depending on how it's executed.
Also true. We'll see how this does. Because right now we're fully in 2017 mode because we just saw a character dab.
Oh, did this release in 2017?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
At which point the dab was already out of fashion, but we won't go into that.
Speaking of out of fashion, I watched like a clip early in the morning of the Pin Pineapple Apple Pin guy doing the song again in front of a live audience, and everyone just went wild.
How recent was that done?
I honestly think the live show was done this year.
Wow, okay then.
Yeah, I guess he just wanted to do a live show. I'm sure he had an actual music career, just that no one actually knows about it.
Hmm. There it is, Minecraft musical.
Baby,
I will say I wish a
Oh, that's
Minecraft
all in one ear. Okay.
I wish a Minecraft musical was put into the logo. It's really weird to see this really nice logo, and then you have the very clear like done
Yeah.
post editing a Minecraft musical.
Yeah. It's
Just
got to be
toss into like 16-point font and call it a day.
it's got to be well integrated, much like my Minecraft review with Jacob Butter thing that I definitely
Dude,
didn't
I
make
love
the
that
text
so
generator
much.
in a single minute.
Dude, but it's so nice though. It's such a sleek like so great.
Yes, Mom.
Okay, now they're speaking of walking at normal speed.
Baby, I got a little present for you.
It's a tripod so the camera doesn't constantly fall backwards.
A present for me?
What is this shot?
Yes, it belonged to your father.
Yes, I hid that behind my person because guitars in real life are that small that you can
Yeah.
hide them in your pockets.
So whenever it comes to doing shots, right? You sometimes you don't always need it to be moving.
Exactly. In fact,
to-
most of the time you do not.
I think having them moving a lot of the time works well, but if it's just two people speaking, I think it's fine enough to have it just sit there. You know, you
Yeah.
can. Those are one of those moments where you don't have to worry so much about the fluidity, and you can have more abrupt cuts as well. So
Yeah, they call those, left to right justified shots, and yeah, they can get very boring to have all the time. But when the alternative is the nauseating approach of, oh, the camera must always pan backwards every
Yeah.
single time, I prefer
So-
the alternative.
So during some of my own, I need to get back to scripting this. By the way, I've been slacking, but during some of the rewrite projects that I've been doing, right, and I've been thinking about what camera angles I think I would like for these scenes. I noticed a lot of time what I like to do is I really liked the idea of having kind of the more like focus scenes being a little bit more like choppy. So you'll have it like from like a shoulder, like over the shoulder shots a lot of time. I'll end up utilizing those quite a bit. But for instance, in the first episode of one of them, during a scene where like the guy's, starving and like thirsting, and then he sees like a forest with food and stuff. He's like zigzagging across the tree, but there's no cuts. It's all like a tracking shot following him,
Yeah.
and so you get the feeling of running with him.
So essentially, you're using moving shots when there is movement.
In,
Is what I'm
intense
hearing.
movement specifically.
Okay.
I like the idea of kind of making the cameras reflect the mood that I want.
That is indeed the goal. I present it to thee, princess. I bequeath you the guitar.
It's beautiful, Mom.
Now you'll be able to write your own songs.
You
throw
throw
the
it.
floor instead.
Now you can write your own. Oh, you can tell that. Oh no, you can tell that these two shots were done in 2 different days because they did the hug, but as soon as the hug ends, A, they're in like completely separate spots, and B, you can see the guitar either despawned or is in one of their inventories right now.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
You can tell there
Also-
is either a cut because they want to switch angles or because a blooper happened.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Josh, for the nice text thing. Right. Just a reminder, I can't put chat on screen for some reason. It's not working.
Oh no! I'm gonna be late.
Shout out to that one person on Twitch who
Okay,
doesn't know
it's
what I'm
time to
talking
head
about.
to my new school.
I'm already kind of nervous about the music though because their mic quality isn't all that great.
Yeah. Although then again, I'd be kind of hypocritical for me to be like, oh well, if you don't have a good enough mic quality, don't make songs, because that's what I spent the first like 4 years of my YouTube career doing. So yeah,
I mean, sure. I don't know. I'm a big believer that if you want to do something, that you should prepare for it. So you should probably do steps to actually, like, for this, right? You're like, I want to do a big, like, make no mistakes. These musicals are not easy things to do. So whenever you're
yeah.
like, hey, I want to do a big Minecraft musical thing, it's like, okay, so what do I need to do that? Well, first thing, I need a good mic. So save some money and get that mic before you start recording, at the very least, the music.
I don't know, because from my perspective, if I say use what you have, use what you can get. If you can prepare for that, then by all means. But as you'll see, there's going to be a much larger cast involved in this going
Sure.
forward. I know because of the credits. So essentially, if that's one thing that's going to get fixed later, then so be it. We'll see how it turns out.
Oh, I've always thought, because if it's really all that great as you're wanting it to be, if you actually have faith in the project, you should be willing to let it wait, because you want it to be in the best quality. Like, if you know your mic isn't fit for a musical, maybe get a mic fit for a musical. Of course, you should probably do this prior to getting the entire cast. But
I don't know. I didn't have the technical know-how or the expertise that is meant for a voice actor gacha series when I started. But if I hadn't, no one would be here right now. So it depends on that aspect. You want to get something out there.
Google
You want to be
is
able
your
to
friend.
And it was my friend, but you saw how that turned out despite it.
Good luck, darling.
Okay, so you know when I said, oh wait, no, this was with Aiden. I was talking to Aiden about some of the comments on here. Well, the comments said that they were, that they just wanted to like rock it out to Be With You. And so I thought, okay, maybe there's a song in here that's also called Be With You, unlike the Epidemic song that we know because of Emerald Secret. But no, here it is. Okay.
You gotta listen up, listen up. There's not a thing that I can get from you. Boy, I don't need that.
Okay, this is someone who has learned from Afmal, and I mean that because they can't look both ways before crossing the street.
Much, need that much.
Would you like some help? My name's Baby.
Jumping usually doesn't help when you're planting crops, so that's your first step.
Hi, baby. My name is Sugar, and in the tree is...
My goodness, who names these children? They're just asking for them to get hit on eventually. These are things that you... these are pet names people give to each other when they're hitting on them.
It's my cat Boots. He won't come down and I'm gonna be late for school.
You sound oh so torn up about that fact.
Let me try something.
She's gonna sing now, isn't it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Word of advice. Humming is an alright idea, but humming is a thing that you normally do either for yourself or to accentuate something. Not to summon an animal from a tree.
Yeah, whenever I'm trying to summon it, well, I guess whenever anyone's trying to summon a cat, you tend to, and you see this as a meme actually on Twitter quite a bit, the whole sound.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit more useful than...
Yeah, because the cat is going to be going, what? I can't hear you. What's going on? Meanwhile, she's going, I can't project.
Getting more aggressive.
Maybe this is just the start of the song. And Sugar's going to be like, can you hurry this up, please? Shh, I'm setting the mood. Oh, dear cat.
Well, okay, KW brings a good point. Unless you're Snow White. Now, I also say unless you're Ariel, in which case...
Both of them use their projection.
No. But in one of the most important songs in Little Mermaid, right? Ursula's, big villain song. The entire ending bit is straight up just Ariel doing like a choir, no, like just there's no words. It's basically just over glorified humming, like. So
You mean so I feel like the key incident there is that that's the song where her voice is being stolen.
it is, and that's kind of the point. It also depends on the theme here. Maybe you just have the best voice in all of the land, such as Ariel.
Yeah, but you also don't have the loudest. That's the point. It's more the case of the cat not being able to hear the humming rather than the humming itself being good or not.
Just up the audio a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Just get get a megaphone.
No, God, imagine in post they up it to like 50 and in the actual video just
Wow, baby, you peaked the microphone that is your throat. Wait, that was an echo. I heard that echo. There was an echo being placed on the humming. My goodness.
How did you do that?
I don't know, but animals just love it when I sing or hum.
That wasn't okay, good. I was about to
Yeah,
say or
it was
hum.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm late.
Oh no, I'm late. I
Thanks,
really hope
baby.
I won't get detention. I guess baby had to wait before going to presumably the same
Okay,
school.
deep breath. Deep breath. You've got this.
Oh, so we get this moment where she's alone in front of the school doors because we can't have someone with her. Yeah, of course, naturally.
Who's that? Look at that pink hair.
Did I just hear look at that big hair?
Pink hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you're gonna have actual whispers, you've got to have those two characters actually have making out noises, those two extras. KW, waiting for them to sing. Yes, so am I.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Whenever I heard the humming,
Oh
I was
god.
I was thinking, well, I'm really hoping it's just that humming on purpose and isn't the actual song.
Well, remember, she got into this prestige art school, which is why they moved in the first place. That was exposited to us most unnaturally by the mother before.
How does this relate to singing?
Well, this school will relate to singing, presumably.
Okay,
Once
I guess.
we get through with all of our anime cliches first.
Sure. Maybe she could go into yodeling class, do the art of yodeling.
Okay, once again we have an abrupt cut, but there's more characters on screen right now than there were before.
Sorry.
Hey, watch where you're going.
I said I was sorry.
Yo, dude, what's going on?
So,
Did I just hear a stereotypical New York accent?
hey, what's going on?
I made a New York
We're all
joke
walking
earlier.
here.
I made a New York joke earlier, but I did not expect during this to actually hear, hey, watch where you're going.
Mm-hmm. Also, is this going to be like Victorious? Ask KW.
I doubt it.
I'm
This doesn't give me Victorious vibes at all.
I don't know. Girl gets into art school because of singing talent. Kind of feels similar.
Sure, the
Sweet honey.
premise, but like Victorious, if you go back and watch Victorious, it like exudes something. It has an energy built into it. And this
Imagine
is
Imagine if Rex sounded like this. Like, hi, I'm Robbie. This is Rex. Hey, what's up? I'm Rex.
Imagine Rex being a New Yorker.
See, that would have been a less offensive accent than one they actually gave him. There we go.
This clumsy fool bumped into me.
At least this clumsy fool has manners.
And gives their A material into insults because, my goodness.
Yikes, this one's got bite.
Nah, just a
Is
yellow
that the
phone.
grainy quality? Is that a phone or is it a knife that he just pulled on her?
That's a phone.
Okay, cool, because it just looks like a big knife that he just whipped out.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I think you got bigger issues than manners now.
Yeah, well, speaking of bigger issues, actually, I'm very glad that this predates the filming Karens trope by 3 years, because otherwise this would be a whole different situation.
Jacob?
Ain't you gonna take that?
Scurry along, pretty princess. I'll deal with you later.
Whatever. I have to get to audition.
Whatever! Auditions? You're already moved! Are you already in the school if you've moved house to come here? Please don't tell me you forgot to... No. That was a nice
Well,
shot,
well,
at
if it
least,
isn't-
but, you know, again, moving shots for movement, it does match, and I guess we're here now, because we didn't get a shot of these two coinciding.
The female dog who talked to my boyfriend.
A mere 30 seconds ago. How did news reach you that quickly?
Katie, he's not your boyfriend.
Shut up, Margaret.
I just heard another New Yorker accent. Where does this take place? Is it supposed to be New York, or is it just because it's a musical?
I don't actually know the answer to that because there's nothing in the description. So I guess until further notice, this is just downtown Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Okay.
Margaret, you know Katie gets what she wants. Will you both shut up?
That's what happens to me. It's the Bakugo gang. It's it.
You know, she gets what she wants. It's like, okay, sure, Harley Quinn. That's just gonna come and get ya.
Yeah.
I can't do Harley's accent. I'm sorry. She has a deceptively hard accent to do for me.
Yeah, definitely. Instead of Mr. J, we have Miss K here, I guess.
Up. I'm talking to the little dog here. Now, if
What-
you ever
why didn't-
go near my boyfriend again, I'll turn you
Okay.
into dog chow.
I mean, I don't particularly like the guy anyway, so sure.
So here's what I would have done. If the antagonist here is female and insists on using dog as an insult, no, this wouldn't be so great for your channel, Jacob. But for the record, I think if we're really going into the whole like,
there's obviously a word that's being used, that's being replaced with female dog in this instance, and I think we all know which word that is.
yes, but I wish it were used instead of dog in this instance.
I'm guessing that this channel that the video is from has a similar rating to mine, which I'm
Fair
definitely
enough.
grateful for in this case. I wish I could show you my Harley Quinn impression, but I'm resting my voice still. You know
Dude,
what? That's fine.
You got a good Harley Quinn I do want to hear that. I've
Fair enough.
always tried doing it, but even I think the only thing I can
Really?
actually get out is the Mr. J, and that's
Are
about
we gonna
it.
have a Harley Quinn reacts stream at one point? I don't know.
And even Mr. J is like you like even then it's just the accent. The like she has a higher pitched voice, and it's like such an important detail of how she says things. It's like I can't do it.
Yeah.
At least I don't smell like dog chow.
I wouldn't have said that if I were you.
Why, you? O-M.
God,
You did not
no,
say
this is a
that.
pet peeve of
What
mine.
kid?
I call it cut here. Everyone, and I swear to God, everyone does this whenever the script has a pause to imply that it is a cutoff, right? A cutoff sentence, a hyphen, one might say.
You need to like trim
I need-
those down to make it seem like it's an actual
Either
interruption.
it needs to be actually cutting them off, in which case, in that situation on a live play, what I would do is I would have the line actually keep going, but have stage directions in the middle here saying, cut them off after this, but if they don't do it
Yeah.
in time, then you can keep going and it'll feel like it's actually doing it. Or
Actually, in scripts, that's what they use slashes for. If you have a slash in the middle of one line and a slash at the beginning of the next line, that's meant to be an interruption. That means you do those at the same time.
it's
Yeah,
good
so
to
there's a
know.
convention for that.
But the other thing is if it's something like this, you don't have to do that. You can just, funny enough, post-production has a trimming feature.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't
Admittedly,
trim
that
it right, then you could overlay the message so it's like a few like milliseconds prior to the end of the other person's sentence, and suddenly it looks like you like they instinctively kept trying to talk and then were cut off.
admittedly that becomes trickier when you're dealing with a Minecraft roleplay like this. That's actually a much easier thing to do in Gacha. However, it's difficult but not impossible. It just might mean that the camera might actually end up panning backwards a little bit faster in one section than the other ones. Which, quite frankly, is not the worst thing in the world, considering that it's still moving backwards.
Yeah, man. It's just, that's like my greatest pet peeve whenever it comes to these. I've noticed, I just hate it because it's so easy to do.
Yeah. Also, hold on, it seems like, oh, Bond's house apparently flooded last night. We're doing more for now.
It's not great. I hope that gets fixed quite soon and it wasn't too much water damage.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if it was, hopefully you have a spare couple $100,000 and just,
or insurance,
or and just abandon ship,
or insurance. That works too.
That's yeah.
Oh look, the kitty cat is fighting with the chihuahua.
Anthony, babe, didn't see you there.
You know what I would love if we about you know what I love about seeing characters on screen, actually see them. Can you zoom in, please?
It's true. There's a reason for a wide shot. You know, there's certain things where wide shots are good. This isn't quite it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm on this, girls.
He's like so falling for you.
Yeah, so in this instance, I get why they did it, is because it's meant to make you feel small, and then the girl is being insulted. That's fine and all. The problem is because of how close you made him and her get together.
They also seem small.
Well, yeah,
There's
but
no
it's also
difference.
because they're so close together. What I would have done in that instance is I would have had a tracking shot where it's a 3-subject tracking shot between all 3 of them, and it's going around them. It's circling them to show kind of and these are like 3 different elements, all kind of at heads, and there's like a threat, but they're also close together, and so it also feels somewhat claustrophobic.
That would have been great. Also, how dare you, Bond? This was exported in 720.
By falling, you mean rejecting.
Now where did she go? Never mind. We'll get her next time.
Just runs through them.
Come on.
Yes, Katie.
But not the other one. I just want Margaret. No one, the other one can stay there.
They're so full of themselves. Oh no,
Weren't you?
I'm late because of them.
Yeah, you didn't have to stay there for as long as you did.
Oh, sorry I'm late. I am so sorry I'm late. I was held up by some of the students.
Miss Baby, we expect you to arrive on time. Please do not let it happen again.
Yes, miss.
My name is Miss Melody.
Yes, Miss Melody. That's a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you. Now you wait for your turn.
I don't actually know if it looked like this on YouTube. I don't know why Restream is trimming this down like that. It might be because of my connection. I don't actually know. It looks like the original video does go up to 1080. The downloader that I used only goes to 720, and so here we are now. I tell you what might actually help. I don't know if this will help or not, but we'll see. Go back to normal. Because yeah, I put the moving background there for Minecraft review, so we'll see if this does anything.
Your turn as you were late. Go wait in the back room.
Yes, miss.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I see it's come out like pretty awfully on camera here. Because I'm looking at the phone now, I can see it. I don't actually know why that is, and I don't know how that. I tell you what. It's definitely because of the restream connection. Because at my nan's house it works very differently. So you have to put up for that now.
Man, maybe that internet really was a scam.
I just set up my nan's house, so that's
Oh, never mind.
yeah.
Hi. My name's Baby. Might I ask what yours is?
My name is Taya.
Oh wow, an actual normal
nice
name.
To meet you. Are you auditioning to get into the Art Academy class?
Yeah, I am, but I'm so nervous.
Do you want to know what I do when I'm nervous?
Sure, I guess.
I just put my headphones on and listen to music. It helps me calm my nerves.
We can get our first song number now. We're halfway through the video. No one's broken the song yet.
What about when you're on stage?
I don't get nervous on stage. It's kind of like a second home to me.
I get that actually.
Wow, you're really brave.
Nah, I just follow my dreams.
I have a hard time doing that. I'm quite shy.
I'm shy as well.
You? Really? You don't seem shy.
Tell you what, if it's worse, I'll put it back to normal.
I try not to show it, but inside I'm shaking. Next. Well, that's my
That's
cue.
acting for you. That's a good skill.
We could be friends, and maybe we could hang out sometime.
That would be nice. I don't really have any friends.
Well, now you do.
And yes, KW, we're halfway. I don't know.
Hi, my name is Baby, and I'm gonna be auditioning with a song that I'm currently working on at the moment.
Okay, so the first song is diegetic. Okay, not bad. Doesn't feel like quite like it needs to be a musical in this case. If this bit anyway. Here we go. So, since the song is indeed diegetic, that means that they must have had to program the music in, which means you must have sent it ahead of time. So, yeah, I guess they just audition students on the first day of school and make them move first. This is still weird. Anyway, song time.
The lights turn on, and the music starts playing.
Did they turn the lights off for her line? The lights turn on? Are you serious?
Yeah, you know. So this is where kind of that like the spotlight noise would have came in handy to kind of symbolize like, oh, the first big song, right? So you could have the spotlight as soon as it could stay dark, and then she'd say the lights turn on, and then right upon the end you could have like the snapping noise and have the spotlight actually turn on her.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, Von makes a really good point. Honestly, anyone with the name Baby has really lazy parents. Oh, what do you want to name your baby?
No, what happened is they thought
Patrick,
it was
you have to actually name the child.
What happened is they expected one gender and then the other came out and they didn't have an alternative planned out, so they just went with the next default.
Okay, sure.
Stop shaking.
Oh, I'm so ready for Johnny to game. Oh, woman. Oh, baby. I guess that's what you are.
That was the joke in Good Luck Charlie as to why Teddy was called Teddy, and Charlie was called Charlie. Even though Charlie's short for Charlotte, but whatever.
With the whole crowd looking, I open my mouth, then I start singing.
Secondhand cringe is what this is bringing. I'm kidding. It's actually not that bad.
No, I would actually. I got work.
I mean,
Dang
it
it.
could. All right, and there it is.
I do think the humming was worse for me.
But yes, that's what I'm comparing it to.
It feels like she's whispering though.
Yeah, I feel like that for the first part that works. Here, actually, is where I would have like had a little bit more projection coming from her.
Yeah, the spotlight turning on should kind of be like the symbol of now the energy's supposed to ramp up.
Yeah, honestly, maybe even a key change would have worked here. Like that, for example. Okay, another thing lyrically for me, this also brings up an issue. So I feel like this would have actually worked better with an ABAB structure rather than an AABB one. I think that would have gone well because of how the notes on the alternating lines match up. You've got the da 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 da. Next one. Then you've got da 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 da. Yeah. So they closely match up there. So actually having the rhyme scheme, I never thought about that before, but actually, yeah, something you just kind of do automatically sometimes.
Yeah, so it's a little bit the nice thing about this, right? I mean, I don't like how quiet it is. The nice thing though is if you listen to music, the singing is on, like, it's in sync. That's pretty nice. But
that's what I would have hoped for an original song, but yes.
Yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to see. Are these original songs? Did you check that beforehand, or are these covers?
Okay, you've asked me this like twice now, and oh wait,
First
no, it
time
was Aiden. Oh wait, no, sorry, that was Aiden because I keep forgetting
Okay.
Aiden was supposed to be here. Okay, so Aiden asked me that twice, and now you've asked me. Okay. So, right, it has been asked a few times. So yes, in the description of the video, there are credits. There are 4 different people worked on the music production, at least. As far as the writing and the stuff goes, that I'm not so sure about. That might have been one person, but who knows?
All right. Now,
and again, some modern pops will have like 5 writers on them. It's like, what? What do you do? What did you each write a word? How there's so many of you? Anyway.
Yeah. So the thing is with music, actually with anything really. So I mentioned how Victorious had a certain feeling to it. Now, here's the thing. Pretty much everything has a certain feeling to it if it's done well. That's just kind of a thing that you can't really replicate. It's kind of part of the reason why AI art is so hated. But the thing is, in this sort of situation, while you can't replicate the feeling of actually like just belting out music with just simple editing, you can simulate it slightly better with a thing in editing called the volume bar.
Well, okay, even then, just actually, yeah. So you can like the music itself can be can have a volume increase. The person singing can have a volume increase through the body, actual projection. And the camera can also, for once, the camera zooming like out from someone actually would make sense here. Like if actually like a note is traveling from the mouth to the outside, that'd be a really good one to like open that up. That's where you use your shots there. You just
I will say
that on everything else.
So the thing is, that shot would only work if the other 2 elements worked. Otherwise, it feels disjointed and even worse.
Oh yes, that's very true. Yeah.
So yes, that is a very good idea, but only if we can get the other 2 things working first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, number one rule in theater. Number one rule in theater. Don't turn your back to the audience. You want them to see you want them to see your face and such. So, I get this isn't a play, but perhaps during a a musical, especially when the first lyric involves the spotlight going on you. Perhaps don't have a shot in which I can only see your little feetsies.
All right then. Yeah.
Just dance around like no one's looking.
Okay, so at least she's like getting into it now, at least physically anyway.
Everyone's looking. Let it out. Let's see the passion.
Yes, let's see the passion. Oh, here we go. Okay.
I'm in the spotlight.
This definitely is like this is like your big moment. I feel like I'm direct. You know what? It's been a year since I've directed a musical. I feel like I'm back in that space again.
Yeah, I will say,
Don't put me back
okay,
there, please.
that shot was pretty well. Okay, I'll give
Mhm.
credit where it's due. That was a pretty good shot. And
Yeah.
the thing having it behind them, pretty great. It kind of gives the idea of you actually performing to an audience, which directly helps the lyrics of sing like no one's, there. It's try.
Yeah.
What I mean is more so they're saying that, but the idea of her getting more ramped up during that implies that even though she says that, it's more so to give you the feeling as well that there is someone there, but feeling like there is. It's hard to explain, but I think you get the point I'm trying to get
I
across.
do.
Here.
Yes.
There's two different points here that clash, but they work together if the right things go together. And so having that shot works well.
Oh my goodness! I just realized there's a piano in the center there, and
I don't even
and the
remember that
main-
piano. Was it there that entire time?
I don't know, but the main instrument in this song is piano, which you would expect that because that's what you get with a lot of theaters actually. However, the fact that the piano is carrying the melody and there's no one playing it just kind of comes across like it's playing itself.
The only thing I can think of is maybe because the microphone is in a separate spot, but maybe just move the microphone next to you. Like how people do in actual plays.
The thing is the microphone doesn't have a cable, which means that it's probably the wiring probably goes underneath the floor, so you can't really move that unless it's a wireless mic, which kudos to them, they've got the budget.
Sure, but you could have fixed that when you were making the map itself. I'm just saying you could have adjusted that. If you knew the scene was gonna happen, you could just put the microphone next to the piano, and if you do your shots right, you can make it look like it's part of the piano, which is pretty standard.
Also, Bon is saying it's boogie time. This is not the song to be boogieing to. Yeah, this is the Make It Shine equivalent. To use the Victorious comparison, this is where Make It Shine would come in. And if people remember from the first episode of Victorious, Make It Shine was a huge number with just brimming with energy, which is why out of nowhere Tori goes, "Oh no, I can't do this. I can't sing this song. It's supposed to be for my sister," and blah blah blah. You don't have to be the like. There's a huge
Victorious was so good, man. It was such a brilliant show. I mean, the creator kind of terrible, but the show itself, as a work of art, is pretty great.
Victorious is a show that I think is tailor-made for you, BB, because everyone in there is just a terrible human being.
Yeah, but like it's also like the comedy was also really on point, and the feeling, like it really is such an enjoyable thing. Like just watching episodes even out of like order or anything, it's just fun to even like watch in the morning. It's just such a gets you right out of bed kind of feeling. But
I tell you what, you know what, you'll like this. Victorious gave me my first taste of the rush that one gets when figuring out a cinematic universe exists.
yeah, dude. It is criminal how the worst person made like one of the most probably one of the most well-known TV shared universes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm cursed to end up like becoming fans of things that are problematic people in general. Just like the whole NSU, also Harry Potter, basically anything by Sky Does Minecraft. Like, why? All of that came like
Dude,
all of that came forward at once, like the same year. It was like, oh
Dude.
great, another one of my child icons has been
I
cancelled.
hate it, man.
Fantastic.
This is such a terrible trend. Why are all good things made by the worst people? Here's the thing. There's people in our comment section, and they're probably sitting here like, hey, but you guys might be saying this, and you might be Hitler.
Well,
it's like you're so right.
If that was the
could
case, if that was the case, we'd be more successful currently.
I know,
So
but it's
there you
like it's so hard to tell because he's coming in nowhere. If we been 10 years from now and we're revealed to be like murderers at this point in the way the real world works, no one would be surprised. That's the worst part. It's so bad. I was watching. This is a thing that MatPat brings up all the time, where people where me or Matt, whenever they used to be in Team Theorist or currently Ash, will then be like, hey, you know the game you're playing? It was actually made by a really problematic person, and MatPat will be like, oh, not another one, because it's like an everyone thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the delusion helps you get like a real good perspective on creation, or it's because the fame went to their head and drive them mad. Maybe
or
both.
the mask, or they had that mask the whole time. The mask just eventually slipped at some point.
I know, that's what I was saying. Maybe they could have been a terrible person the whole time, and it made their like warped like worldview kind of go in through their art, and it would have made a good art piece. Or if it's because the fame drove them mad, or both. It could be both.
Something, but yeah. On a side light note, do you want to know how the cinematic universe reveal came to me?
How?
Okay, so remember that.
Was it the iCarly Victorious crossover? One of the few, actually. There's a couple.
Actually, it wasn't iParty with Victorious. I didn't end up seeing that one until a long time later. No, but it does have to do with iCarly actually. So, so what happened was, but like, oh my goodness. So remember that episode where they are in the where they're in the karaoke club, the karaoke dokie, and they have that whole thing where Jade and Kat end up being upstaged by the daughter of the one place there, so they bring in Tori and stuff like that. Yeah, at some point, the daughter and the friend, they actually perform the song made famous by Ginger Fox, and then they show the picture on screen of Ginger Fox from the iCarly episode, where she has like her hand up in the air and with like the armpit hair and everything, and that's like that image. I remembered that because I'd seen that episode of iCarly where they direct that music video. And so I was like, oh, okay. I knew these shows felt similar, but I thought that was like an editing thing or something. No, this is like actually a cinematic universe. It's like, wow. Part of me was like, I knew it. Part of me was also like, wait, what? You can do that? That's a thing you can do?
Yeah. That's
And that like, yeah, that like warped a different world. That changed my worldview right there in a small way.
No, I also really love, surprise, surprise, shared universes, just because it's like.
That's why I thought you were that story.
Yeah, and that's, I've said this before. This is part of why I love the Butterverse so much, because unlike the MCU, we aren't focused on like this one group of heroes and how they span into these. We're focused on like various different time periods. And I love we can just go across these various points.
Yeah, the structure of the Butterverse itself does take a few points from the MCU, because the basic philosophy that I had was, okay, well, we've got these movies because at the time they were basically just movies and a couple of TV shows. So we've got these movies that work as a separate entity. but they still function as the stories, kind of the same way that iCarly and Victorious function separately, but they kind of do also benefit from sharing a universe in certain ways. So yeah, that was basically the idea. That's why I'm so focused on like everything actually not going too overboard with crossovers and making sure that the stories do function, and that allows you to go because different time periods and stuff. Yeah, disconnect them if you want, and then the impacts that they have on each other will become more clear as time goes by, and more theories come out because I'm not going to tell you all that stuff.
Yeah, because the thing is, whenever I started, of course, no one's seen this happen yet, but my idea for a lot of my stuff, at the very least, guys, remember, it is a shared universe, but I think all of us have very different philosophies whenever it comes to writing and stuff, so this isn't reflected with everyone. But on my personal end, I really kind of exploit the fact that we have such a big time span, because I've told this to Jake before, but there's like 3 layers to the story that I'm telling, because there's the series itself, right? Any series, it can be literally anything that stands on its own well enough, right? But it'll probably also have a direct sequel or something, which, then you go into that wider, like, oh, and here's that series thing. But in each series, there's always like these tiny little elements that in a spin-off, there's probably a whole other thing going into that one tiny element. And so across all the stuff, you'll see these tiny little name drops. And once you go back and rewatch it, it'll be like, oh, I know that thing. Even though it was only mentioned for like a second, it'll be like, oh, that's that thing. That's right. They're important to this point in time. Oh, wait. So that's why that happened later. It's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And so once you watch it all in like chronological order, Jacob said this before, it's very similar as watching the history of the world.
Yeah, that's also similar to what happened with season 2 of The Mutant Girl, where because of the way people watching the show, I've realized, oh well, people are going to be, every time a new episode comes out, they're going to be binge watching everything that came before it, at least in the season. I'm gonna give them a bit of a mystery, and just have a bunch of hints towards future episodes, like not say like just the next one, but ones that came right before that. So every time you go back, there's a little something else for you.
Sure, yeah. Keen viewers will want to rewatch some of my stuff, at least, because the thing is, while there is, of course, the normal foreshadowing for the series itself, because that's how you make a story, there's also like tiny little name drops or tiny little like descriptions that are things that are important, and you just don't know that they're important yet.
Of course, like you don't present them as important in the moment. Like if you like present them as throwaway lines or something, and then have people come back for that. Absolutely, yeah. So there you go, KW. If you ever decide to actually react to the Mutant Girl on camera, then look for clues.
Yeah. I always that's always one of the nice things. It's kind of like video games with the replay value, because it's like, well, here's this. You don't even know it's important yet, so you're not going to pay attention in the slightest to it. But once you rewatch it, after the thing has already been built upon in a completely separate thing, it's like, oh, that description sounds familiar. Oh!
Yeah, it could be the same thing, or it could be separate things. It works in either case. Yeah, your philosophy with Vato is like the direct opposite to Aiden, because he tends to write stuff that is already in particular portions of the timeline that already have enough saturated in them so that he can actually do crossovers either with himself or with other people.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
he also
which also gives you a minor heart attack when trying to decide the chronology of everything. But you know,
God, dude, viewers, you have no idea the aneurysm I had when because Aiden and Jacob clearly didn't talk about the timeline placement beforehand, and they won't admit it, I'm sure. But
well, we talked about the placement of two things happening simultaneously, but not by individual videos.
Yeah, the problem though is because what would happen is there would be something involving the timeline and be like, okay, so hey, when does this take place? And one would give me an answer, and I'm like, cool, awesome. And then later on, something contradicts that. I'm like, hey, guys, I thought you said this was the case. And they're like, and then someone else comes in and they're like, no, what? Why would he say that? It's this. And then at one point,
Someone else?
there's like one or because you and Aiden would have two conflicting things sometimes. And so I remember there was like one or two times where I would drag them both into a call and it'd be like, okay, I have you both in one place now. Tell me how this fits. Tell me how this absolutely, undeniably, definitively fits, because you two are telling me two different things, and this is gonna hurt whenever we want to reference these things later. Eventually, there is an answer. I have them in my document. There is a factual way that these fit. But dear God, it took so long to get that answer.
Yeah, by so long, I think she means essentially like particularly when Fallen Angels actually first started.
Yes.
We did have to talk about a few things because we had to decide when a certain episode came out, but I'm not going to go into detail about that because KW hasn't reached that part in the reactions yet.
Yeah, there's certain moments, especially on Aiden's end, but also Jacob's also a little bit guilty of it, but mostly Aiden, where it'd be like, the timeline's not that important right now. We can deal with it later. Well, that's great. Let's not. Yeah, there's not like 5 or 6 creators sharing this universe, right? I'm sure these things won't cross paths, right?
That does sort of come into the idea of the story functioning on its own. But I do say that they whenever I think of a new Butterverse story, I always make sure to think, okay, so like where do I want to place this, and then because that also determines like other world building aspects, like how the world has changed during these certain points and everything. It's a whole thing. Just to go back to the chat for a second before we go back to the song that we kind of just went through into a tangent in the middle of. Bond says, I can never do crossovers like Gacha tubers. I doubt get popular enough to even reach that level. Yeah, the difference between the way that we do crossovers, the way that other people do crossovers, is the fact that we, because of the shared universe aspect, that our crossovers are all, we obviously we plan them during the times, and we can at the times, and then normally when doing crossovers, we sit down with both of the writers and we decide, or however many there are, and then we figure out things going from there to make sure no one's like doing something wrong with the characters or anything. So that's the difference with us. With other people, with other people, it can just be as simple as, oh, your character appears in this, kind of the same way that Josh appears as himself in Finding Shardy's old friend. Or it can be this case that, with the pops, how there's like a bunch of different pop groups that all have a shared universe from the jazz pops universe that was coined by Flowerpot 1300, and then everything else kind of came from there. People keep on proposing new ideas to join that roster. So it does depend. So who knows? You could even start your own crossover. I mean, who knows? There could be a sister location of the Secrets of the Plex story. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, and someone else can take charge of that.
Yeah, the thing is, for us, shared kind of has a double meaning here, right? Because it's not just that the universe's projects are shared within the same universe. It's also because we as people are like friends, and so we're in pretty quick contact with one another, and we are actively saying, hey, can we do this? Is this a good idea? And we are actively like making it so it works for each of us. We are sharing our own little corners of this universe.
Yeah. Let's see. Do a thumbs up if you like Totally Spies. KW says, me too, I just do things with fun, help with other stuff, as far as like not doing things for the fame and stuff. I mean, yeah, because the boss says a good thing I don't do this for the fame. I mean, you don't sell yourself short. And also, again, with crossovers, it does depend what you're looking for. I would offer to do a crossover with you myself. However, it would have to be non-FNAF related, because otherwise I would be terrible at it.
So you can just have me to consult.
Oh Lord.
I'm just saying, I've read all those books.
I'm very aware.
I have opinions.
Hang on. Speaking of finding Shardy's old friend, Shardy himself has appeared in the chat right now. Hello. Hi, Shardy. So I can point one screen. I've got this issue with chat today, where it doesn't
Is
seem to
it
show.
pronounced that way? Are you pronouncing that right?
I mean, I checked with Josh, and no one's corrected me so far. So
Okay. Fair enough, I guess.
why do you have the same music in this every video? And Shardy says because map music to use, even ideas. Well, the option there is either keep exploring or just constantly just like add whenever you find a different piece of music, just add it to. I have a folder. Well, actually, I have several folders of different bits of music. In fact, famously, I had to at one point compress all my music into zip files and send them over to Aiden so he could have those as well for his own videos.
Yeah,
He can find them himself.
What's nice, so YouTube, first off, what's nice about it is it's an algorithm that quickly learns, very quickly. So once you start picking out music around the same time frame, it'll start to pick on to what you like. And so it'll start shoving just random music towards you, and you can listen to it and be like, oh, this works. Yeah, this is cool. The other thing is you don't have any real ideas. You can think, okay, are there any series or shows that I have that have music I like, right? And see if you can find something that's similar vibe. Speaking of vibe, you can also just type out an emotion or a feeling and then put song afterwards. And you'll just find a bunch of things and see if you can find something that evokes that emotion.
If you admire a certain artist, you can type artist name, type melody / or type beat, and it will come up.
Yeah, it's very nice because it just kind of shoves things at you. So
True.
Yeah, that's kind of how I ended up making most of my soundtracks, and they came out pretty well.
Yeah. Also, another thing that that Josh has said here was, can Shard explain the text on screen to point out the obvious? So just to recap from yesterday's stream, one of the things that I said, and also the previous Finding Shardy's old friend, was the fact that there seems to be a running thing of certain text on the screen where it's not needed. Like, for example, in the plane, when we already have a shot of a person getting into a plane and then them side a different room, presumably also in the plane. And sometimes it'll be like, oh, that everyone left after this, while we spent like the whole episode saying, pack your bags, we're leaving. It's stuff like that. And it comes as the idea that with the gacha community, with a lot of the time you either get narrators who start at the beginning and don't do anything, or they overstay their welcome and they constantly keep coming back to them. Kind of like the way that silent films would almost do them sometimes. I did actually compare. I did compare the gacha community at one point to the parallel of like how cinema itself ended up rising, how we were in the age of silent films, and now we're kind of into the development of talkies. But that's a whole other issue. So it's just that people are learning at a much faster pace than cinema did, obviously, because that's just how things go with the internet.
Disregarding the reason why silent films are called silent films in the technological advancements.
Of course, but yeah, I mean, but even then, that what I meant was because of how voice acting at the time was becoming. I think it was a 2020 or 2019 video that I was doing about that. It was Walking Wednesday 9, actually. So
it's very exact,
yeah.
Right?
So yeah, the voice acting side of gacha was very new. So it was essentially we're going from silence to speech, and silent films, of course, having that that element of text was kind of a reliance that they had. Arguably, they didn't need it either, but eventually, as time went by, everyone learned accordingly.
Yeah, but I will say silent films also come with a built-in excuse, which is that the technology we have today didn't exist yet.
Well, it's just more like, the hindsight didn't exist, because in terms of the reliance on text, yes, you could say that the cameras themselves could have been used in a slightly different form even back then, but no one had thought to do that at that time. So no one was going to until someone did. That's how things really go.
Yeah, I think that's part of why people like George Lucas so much, because a lot of his stuff, at least in the early Star Wars, was very new, all things considered. Which is why when people went
thing about constantly like reinventing himself and trying to innovate with new technologies and such.
Yeah, and so a lot of his stuff was very new. So you'll hear stories of people that saw like A New Hope in theaters, and they'll be like, "Wow, it was like magic," because
I've
it
actually
was because
seen
it's never been
part.
seen before.
Yeah, I've seen some of like the behind the scenes of that and talking about the editing process, and it is quite fascinating how those things came to be.
Yeah, George, for what you think of his writing, you have to admit he was a genius whenever it came to the actual development.
Hmm. I mean, even nowadays, with the advent of the Unreal game engine being used for the first time in the first time in mainstream cinema and TV, and that's what we have with The Mandalorian. So it still
Yeah,
happens to this
Unreal's
day.
really nice.
Hmm.
Yeah. So whenever I start making games at some point, don't know when that'll be, but one day, whenever I start doing some of those, yeah, no, Unreal is so easy to get into. I mean, of course, I'll still have to learn a little bit of coding to actually like force my way in, just in case I need to do something like specifically unique. But Unreal, even the old version of Unreal, which I fiddled around with for a little bit, was very intuitive. And you have the new Unreal, which I can only imagine is even more intuitive. Dude,
Even more Unreal.
yeah, it's like films and games and all that, like CGI especially. It is at a whole new level of accessible in modern day. Like you have, if you really want to do it, you have zero excuse to not give it a chance at this point.
Yeah.
Like you have no excuse. Unreal's free.
Oh yeah, Unreal is free until you make $1 million with a project, then they charge you.
That's
But hey,
fair. But
yeah.
that's also not a thing that everyone is doing. And also, whenever you make $1 million on a progress on a project, you can probably pay them pretty easily.
Yes, exactly.
It
You can
won't matter.
afford to pay the charge. Exactly. Yes, I agree.
Like I don't think it matters too much. Then does it?
No, it does not. Okay, let's get back to another. Speaking of innovation, let's get back to the world's first Minecraft musical. Yeah, more tense. That's not really a spotlight, is it?
No, I'd call it a spotlight.
Well, no, because a spotlight's supposed to shine on a particular spot. That's why it's called spotlight.
I get that. Sure, yes, that is factually correct. That like it's not like an opinion thing. That's just true. But you can see like around the light, there is clearly like it's clearly meant to be circular. I think it might have just been a situation of they couldn't get it to the right smallness. I think that might have been a problem they had, and this was the issue they had. I'm be honest, I'm gonna give them flag on that one.
Yeah,
I'll give them leniency.
Yeah, because I guess with like how high up the stage is with Minecraft lighting, there really is no way to focus in that regard. I guess that's true.
Bops up and down. Yeah,
That's terrible singing technique. Find out the data, the sighting at me. Like, that's just gonna like force out the air in a really weird way.
Yeah, people don't like to. So back in the day, people had to move and sing, but like in that's nutty. That's crazy. It is so hard to do. Thank God, as we were talking about technological advancements, now we can just have them do the thing, right? They can sing, right? But it doesn't have to be particularly good, and they can sing well in post and just sync it up to the lips. And then it looks like they're both singing and dancing. So thank God for that. But like that,
although I'm guessing that I'm guessing that this school, is going to teach them how to do live performances, so that won't matter too much.
Yeah, but like that, what she just did, IRL, not easy. Very impractical.
I'm so sorry.
Wait,
That's all I have
okay.
at the moment.
Yeah.
wrote that yourself?
It seemed almost complete to me. It's almost like they were like you had maybe like a quatrain left to do as far as lyrics go, and then you could like end it off and then have the music trail off at the end. Really.
Yeah, I will say. So the music was getting higher at that point. So what needed to happen is either it needed a
Still wearing
down,
the headphones. I just realized.
it needed either a downslope or it needed to stay at that point and then lead directly into another song.
Which, of course, would not have happened during an audition.
Yeah, but
I did. It's still.
you know.
Oh, also, Chilling Frost is here. I know this YouTuber. Her content is cool. Apparently, I also knew this YouTuber at one point and just completely forgot.
Still work in progress, though.
I don't think I got this far in the video the first time.
Welcome to the Art Academy.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Imagine if I made my family move house just for this and I didn't
I'll
get
tell
it.
you what, someone named Babe really does belong in Art Academy.
I think this is Art Academy.
Oh. I prefer Art Academy.
Sugar, darling, where are you?
I'm here, Miss Melody.
Whoa! It's the character that we knew was going to the same school. Why? Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that?
So again, my first instinct was that was a knife, and she got behind something so quickly that I just saw her charging in with a knife, just at full speed.
Well, I guess I gotta do this now. PSA: phones aren't knives.
Baby?
I see you two have already met. Now, Sugar. Baby is our newest student to the Art Academy, so please make her feel welcome and show her around the campus.
Yes, miss.
Hey, that's my name.
School you went to?
Oh my goodness.
It's a small world after all.
Yeah, if only you actually hadn't waited by Sugar's own house, you would have seen her walk in the same direction as the Art Academy that you were also going to.
What that noise?
Sometimes that's all I can do in these situations. Like, what else can I say?
So?
Yes, I got in.
I knew you would, baby girl. Your dad
That's why I already filed the paperwork for this house and brought all our stuff over.
would be the proudest he could be.
Yes, well, I'm gonna head up to my room.
There's nothing you can say that will bring me down.
A non-diegetic song in this Minecraft music. Dang it! Get out of here! Let us sing again. I need a non-diegetic song. We need an actual musical number, not just a song in the video.
Not even one day.
This isn't even your room. Leave.
My door!
Oh, well, okay. It's lovely.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, Mom?
Why don't you go introduce yourself to the neighbours?
Why?
Because I'm trying to get rid of you.
Well, it's the kind of thing you do. Also, you could make some friends.
Okay.
Is she supposed to be the mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Baby.
Oh,
Does-
Christ. Not him.
The accent is off then, but okay.
Hey, sometimes mums have different accents to their children, especially if they live in New York.
Yeah, but also if generally, here's the thing, accents aren't from blood necessarily, at least not wholeheartedly. The nurturing and the thing you hear affects the way you speak. So if they speak differently than you, I have some questions about your upbringing.
A part of that is true. However, I ended up just emulating an American accent while I was in the US and using that just in general because that was what I heard at school rather than what I heard at home. So it does depend.
Well, if it isn't the little ankle biter.
But people at school have a New York accent.
Well, yes. So that's what so the difference is that wherever baby went to school is where she must have got her accent from rather than from home. Or from her dad, depending on how long her dad was alive for, I guess.
No! It's you! Bad enough you're a jerk to me as...
This is the loudest she's been in the whole video, and she did a musical number. Think about that.
But you're my neighbor?
Yeah, well, don't keep me up with your yapping.
We didn't need that verbally clarified, by the way, but yeah.
Rude!
Is it a bad sign that he looks like a... Oh, wait, never mind.
Is it rude? I mean, I get you just had that, like, confrontation at school, but for the record, from his perspective, you did just walk up to his home and start yelling at him. Admittedly, disregarding how good of a person he is, I, too, would probably close the door in your face.
Yeah. Honestly, considering the first type person he was, I would have done it anyway.
Well, sure, I just mean, I think pretty much any human would have done what he did.
Wish I had a friend that wouldn't judge me.
Maybe try a second door? Like, what are you talking about? And also, you just made friends today at school. And presumably...
God dang it. Everyone in chat is freaking out over my animals.
Yeah, apparently. Then
Guys,
again,
I'm sorry.
Themselves.
Speaking of yapping, my animals like to talk. I'm sorry. I try to mute myself quick enough. Sometimes my hand's a little bit too far from the trigger.
Can I just say, Shardy has the best comment ever here. Imagine this: if mothers told us not to talk to strangers, how are we going to make friends? A very good question. Baby, go and talk to some strangers. I don't care. Just leave me alone.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. Humans are social creatures. That's kind of what our species does.
We do start off as strangers before we become friends with people and such. Even introverts have their moments.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think that mama here is the only factor here. I think it is also because that's how we evolved.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an important note there. It is literally intuitive to us as a species.
Maybe it might be time.
And there's our cliffhanger, I guess. It might be time to bring out, I don't know, bring out the AI friend I've programmed or something. Just becomes Megan 6 years early. Anyway. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe for more. And here's Baby with the guitar that she didn't want to use in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's her signature thing for the rest of the series. I suppose we'll see more of that at some point. Yeah, I don't know. Gotta go manage some of my OCs. Peace out. Well, you've got too many of them anyway, Shardy, so that makes sense.
Maybe the guitar is being held off for something important. Who knows?
Maybe it's not time yet. We only heard one song in this episode, says KW. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, not to bring up the music freaks again, but yes, the music freaks does tend to have like, you know, well, it tends to have 1 or 2 music numbers, and that's probably enough for an episodic musical. Honestly, unless you want to have music carry the whole way through, which that is also an option that you can do. That's, you know, that's another type of musical. But yeah, all things considered, not the worst idea. But then again, it's the fact the song was diegetic for me. That was what songs don't really count to make something a musical. They just count to have something that has music in it. Otherwise, most of Shakespeare's plays would be musicals by definition.
Yeah, I mean, that's also episodic musicals are a tricky thing, mainly because it's hard to do a musical in anything that short and actually make it count as a musical.
Which is why having one is an okay option. I mean, that's from when I first conceived Siren Story as a gacha musical. That was the idea. It was the first episode had. Well, see, it's meant to be that each episode would have 2 songs, but then I scrapped that idea. The first episode has 2, and then the other ones have 1, supposedly. At least that's how far we got with scripting.
So, for me, if I were to do a musical, it'd be one of 2 things. One, it would be in a similar thing to how Epic works. I've been listening to it quite a bit lately, so it's just the first example that I can think of. But it's basically it's a playlist of the songs. If you listen to it in order, you get a musical. It's simple. Or it would be kind of like a movie length sort of thing, and it'd just be one thing, and it'd just be a musical. I feel like making episodic kind of is more difficult. It's also the fact that having an episodic thing with this sort of thing where it's like only 1 or 2 songs in it, it's arguable whether it even is a musical or not at that point.
I mean, as long as something has a moment where someone breaks into song and it's not meant to be as a part of the actual, it's not meant to be something that's in the universe itself. It's something that it's how the medium works. That to me counts as a musical.
I can see that. I don't know. It's because it's like, for instance, the SpongeBob movie, the first one, right? It has a couple songs in it. I don't know that I'd consider it a musical, though.
I suppose that it comes to where you draw the line. Then again, the SpongeBob movie was a movie. This video was only actually 17 minutes long. It could have done with at least 1 more song in there of that length, but well, I don't know. So yeah, just to address the comments in this video quickly, because I was going to say, someone said 70% of the comments, OMG, your singing is so good. 20% of the comments, my door. 10% of the comments, hi, awesome video. Then there are some people who are saying stuff like, this is the most original roleplay I've ever seen. The intro was really unique, and the skins have so much life and detail. There's so much work and effort and stuff like that. Baby's the next Disney princess. They're all being like really overwhelmingly positive about this. It does seem, I feel like that kind of, I don't know, because as far as the story and everything actually goes, it's just victorious without the mean-spiritedness.
Okay. but the sassiness was such a good part.
Which makes this worse by comparison. That's what I mean.
That's
like,
fair.
Yeah. The fact is, I mean, I don't know. Like, even then, the premise itself, like, it falls apart. This episode alone can't be classified as the best of anything, because it actually, like, if you think about it, I mentioned this before because I was making jokes about it the whole way through, but imagine having to move your 2 children across the country in order for one of them to be able to audition to be in a school. Imagine if she hadn't gone through that audition. Imagine if that hadn't worked out. And let's face it, the audition was not that good either. So it very easily could have gone, pear-shaped. So having to uproot your entire life, no one is going to take that risk. Just take a train or something like that. Have them stay at a hotel or something in the first episode, or open up during the audition. Have the first song in your musical be the introduction of your main character, which is a thing that is done quite frequently, actually. Sometimes the main character ends up being built up as well during the opening number before they appear, or they don't appear at all. All those options would make a lot more sense than what we had here. By all means, have original songs in there. Have an art school. do something with similar to what Victorious did, but don't shoot yourself in the foot at the same time. And also, please, for the love of Irene, keep the camera still once in a while. So yeah, it does kind of seem. I wonder, like, if this weren't a musical, or this weren't marked as the first Minecraft musical, would it even stand on its own 2 feet? I mean, the skins, I guess someone mentioned in there, but I don't know about anything else. The voice acting as well. I don't remember any performances really that stood out to me as being particularly exceptional anyway. I mean, some of them, they had the accents down. There's that much, but the other ones, like everyone, the bullies don't seem like they were particularly mocking. The people who were meant to be loud weren't. The ones who were meant to be scared sounded bored. I don't know. There just seems to be something missing from everyone. Like there was like some direction that needed to be implemented into it.
So, I'm gonna be honest. For me, I guess on paper, a lot of things worked out. Because, like, okay, I can see the idea coming through. Some of the singing was pretty decent, but kind of messed up a little bit with the microphone quality. The shots, I don't know what happened. I don't know if there were multiple directors or what, because some shots were really clever, and others not so much. Again, for instance, that, like, I think one of the most glaring shots was that wide shot around the beginning. Again, wide shots, they're used to make someone small. They don't work in every instance. I don't know. Maybe
LD
it's
Chalet did him.
I think whenever it felt like they wrote it, but then they were bored doing it, right? And I don't have much to back that up. It's just because I don't feel like they were excited doing this. I don't feel super energized. I didn't get a feeling. Also, I think KW is referencing the Empire's SMP musical, which LD Shadow Lady made.
Yeah, I just looked this up right now. That was 10 months ago. That was way later. Okay, I thought no way did they not even become the first Minecraft musical.
Yeah, it's a pretty good musical, for the record. It's pretty bubbly though. It's not a thing that most people would expect me to listen to, but I quite enjoyed it.
Okay.
I
mean, well, you know what? I might check it out then. It might be the next Minecraft review then. Since
I recommend it. Yeah. The premise basically is
it's a song called The Great Salmon Scam. I love it already.
Yeah, the premise is basically it's the entire Empire SMP, except it's just Lizzie's point of view, except turned into a very abridged musical. And then there's also a timeline placement to fit it into the main Empire's canon, but you can ignore that. Well, I did, for the record, but
like I'm not gonna watch an entire SMP just to get to a musical. Like I know that I'd say, oh, I'm gonna start from the beginning with the stuff, but I have my limits.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, it's an adaptation of the musical, but it also coexists with it within the same universe. It's good for
no. Oh.
It makes sense. It's not like Aphmau. It's clearly explained in universe, I swear.
Okay.
It's clearly explained. It makes sense. It's mostly good for kind of character analysis, if anything, if you really wanted to fit together, right? It's mainly good for character analysis, where it's like, okay, so this is how LD Shadow Lady viewed these events, as opposed to seeing it live. It's like, okay, so in hindsight, this is how the character saw these events. Cool.
Right, okay, yeah. Fair enough.
I swear, it's not MCD. It's not like a theory thing where it's like, but I think this is what she meant. No, it's pretty cut and dry. how it fits into the SMP. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's explained
Yeah.
around the end, but it's pretty obvious.
And yeah, the only comparison I guess is that I guess it seems to be a remake, and it is, and they are both canon. But anyway,
It's not a remake; it's an adaptation.
okay. That seems like it's even more separate. Whatever.
Just trust
So-
me on this one. I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah, so let me just finish off with the chat here. By the way, Josh was not lying about me making a trailer. Great. You making a trailer, cool. Didn't say what for, didn't say anything. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Shadi knows yet that I don't care about trailers for things that are on YouTube, because it's like, well, coming soon on this exact platform. Like, I don't have to get hyped for it, really. Like, I'm gonna watch it anyway.
I will say I think trailers are good. But I think I don't know.
Trailers in principle are great, and sometimes they have got me hyped up to see stuff, like even more so. Particularly for stuff with cinemas or with streaming services, they do their job. I just mean because with YouTube, you're already on the same platform. It's already going to be there for free, and chances are you won't have to wait for that long before it happens.
Well, the thing is, with those, you can kind of get the vibe that the creator wants you to get from it, and be like, hey, I don't know, is this for me? Do I want to see like a whole like 30-minute or more episode or not? That's how it fits for me. Also, it gives you a release date. It's a nice way to tease a release date. I almost made one for Rip in the Dark, and I said this community post. The problem is that because Rip in the Dark, again, doesn't have a lot of
visuals.
Well, it's really hard. It's really hard to make a really good trailer with only audio. That's all it really came down to.
See, that's where you pull out the different backgrounds, and you do a bit more with the visuals and things. Possibly take a few audio clips from the actual episodes and convert them into what a scene of that might have looked like, and then you have the medium there. That's when you've already got the hype.
Trailers for me need to be like exciting though.
Yes, it would be more exciting to see a scene like that, like what I just described, than a section of the Rip in the Dark video. That's what I mean.
I don't agree, but...
Well, apparently the audience do. Let's see, what else? People just right, it was nothing like Afmal. I'll tell you on that Minecraft review. Oh, of the Empire of the Empire's musical? Yeah. Okay, sure. Fair enough then. All right. Well, I mean, this speaking of stuff that I was I guess hyped up to see, maybe that's why I end up trending off from this video. Maybe I just end up being busy on that particular day and the algorithm buried it for me. I don't actually know, but yeah, I guess considering that I wanted to review this for the past week or so, yeah, I'm kind of like, wow, could have held off on this. But either way, I wonder though, of course, I'm going to keep watching the whole thing because I hope that it's going to pick up. I want to see some actual other music numbers now that the auditions are done. Let's see if there's some non-diegetic things in the future or any of the other things that I mentioned. I don't actually know anymore. But I suppose we'll find out whatever that next thing actually is. So stay tuned for that, and please leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters, as you've done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell.
Bye.
That's the sing it loud theme tune, isn't it? Farewell. There we go, Jeff. Originality.